We all have it, we all pay for it, but do we really get it? I'm talking about auto insurance, of course. It's one of those things we buy and just, hope we never have to use. But what if you do? Are you actually covered? We're about to pull back the curtain and demystify your policy so you can drive with some real peace of mind. It seems like a simple question, right? But honestly, the answer can have some huge financial consequences. So many of us just kind of sign on the dotted line and cross our fingers. Well, by the end of this, you're going to know exactly where you stand. Okay, first things first, why do we even have to have auto insurance? It's not just another bill to pay. It's really about financial responsibility. See, every single time you get behind the wheel, you're taking on a pretty serious risk, and insurance is the system we've built to manage it. Think about it. The second you're on the road, you're part of this incredibly complex system with a ton of moving parts and a lot of risk. An accident doesn't just affect you, it can completely upend the lives of other drivers, pedestrians, and cause thousands in property damage. Insurance is all about protecting everyone from that financial disaster. And if you decide to just ignore that responsibility, well, the consequences are no joke. We're talking about fines that can absolutely wreck your budget, losing your license, maybe even having your car impounded. And the big one? Facing a lawsuit that could put everything you own at risk. It is just not worth the gamble. All right, let's pop the hood on a typical policy and see what's really going on in there. What are the essential parts that make the whole thing work? We're going to break down the core coverages so you know exactly what you're paying for every month. First up is Bodily Injury Liability, or BI for short. And this one is a big deal. If you're at fault in a crash, this is the part of your policy that pays for the other person's medical treatments, their lost wages. And, this is crucial, it also covers your legal bills if they decide to sue you. It's basically your financial shield when things go really wrong. So, the easiest way to remember this, bodily injury liability isn't for you, it's for them. It's the coverage that protects other people from the harm you might accidentally cause. And next up is its partner, property damage liability, or PD. This works pretty much the same way, but for things instead of people. So if you hit someone's car, back into their fence, or even take out a streetlight, this is the coverage that pays to get it all fixed. And again, to put it super simply, property damage liability protects other people's stuff. So BI and PD together, that's the core of your financial responsibility to everyone else out on the road. Okay, so we've taken care of your responsibility to other people. But what about your own car? That's where collision coverage comes into play. This is the part of your policy that pays to repair or even replace your vehicle after an accident. Doesn't matter if you hit another car, a pole, or even if your car rolls over. So the takeaway is simple. Collision is all about fixing your car. It's the coverage that gets you back on the road after a crash.
But what about all the weird stuff that can happen that isn't a traditional crash? Like a tree branch falls on your car during a storm, your car gets stolen, or you hit a deer on some back road. Well, that is exactly what comprehensive coverage is for. It handles a whole list of those non-collision what-ifs.
Here's a super easy way to remember it. Collision covers crash damage to your car, and comprehensive covers pretty much everything else that could possibly happen to it. Now, let's talk about a coverage that is, and I mean this, absolutely critical. What happens if the person who hits you doesn't have insurance at all? Or maybe they have the cheapest policy possible, and it's not nearly enough to cover your medical bills. That's where uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage saves the day. It's designed to protect you from other irresponsible drivers. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The experts are clear on this one. This is one of the most vital protections you can have. It's literally a safety net for you and your family when someone else on the road makes a bad choice. Okay, so we know the different types of coverage now. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the numbers on your policy's declaration page. The limits, the deductibles. This is where you find out how much protection you actually have. You've probably seen a set of numbers that looks just like this on your insurance paperwork. It kind of looks like some secret agent code, doesn't it? But it's actually just simple shorthand for your liability limits. So let's break down what it really means. Let's decode it. That first number, the 100, that's the max your policy will pay for injuries to a single person, so $100,000. The second number, 300, that's the maximum total for all injuries in one single accident. And that last number, the 100, that's the maximum for property damage. Understanding these limits is key to knowing if you're truly protected. Now let's talk about deductibles. The deductible is simply your share of the repair bill before the insurance company starts paying. And as you can see, it's a trade-off. If you choose a higher deductible, say $1,000, you're going to pay a lower monthly premium. But if you have an accident, you've got to come up with that $1,000 out of pocket. A lower deductible means a higher premium, but you'll pay less when you file a claim. It's all about finding the right balance for your own budget.
Okay, here's a term that trips a lot of people up after their car is totaled. Your insurance pays the actual cash value, or ACV, of your car. That means they pay what your car was worth on the open market a second before the accident happened. It's not what you originally paid for it, and it's not what a brand new one costs. That's a really important expectation to have. All right, we've covered the basics, we've decoded the numbers. To wrap this all up, let's go over some of the most common and really costly mistakes people make with their auto insurance, so you can make sure you avoid them.
And this right here is the single biggest myth in the world of auto insurance. You've probably said it yourself. Oh, I have full coverage. Well, here's the secret. Full coverage isn't a real thing. It doesn't actually exist. As our source material points out, there's no legal definition. It's just a slang term that can leave you dangerously exposed if you're not careful. So let's run through these one last time. The big mistakes. Choosing the absolute bare minimum liability limits, which probably isn't enough in a serious accident. Dropping that super important uninsured motorist coverage just to save a few bucks. Forgetting to list everyone who drives the car. And of course, falling for the myth of full coverage instead of actually understanding what your policy says. Any one of these can turn a really bad day into a total financial nightmare. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Auto insurance, it's not just about being legal on the road. It's about protecting your savings, your home, your entire future. So after all this, the real question is, does your policy actually do that? Take a look at it. Is it truly protecting you?